Hello everyone, Theodore Shoebat here, and in this video I'm going to be giving you guys a strategy which you can use, and if you use it, you will be able to win every time, guaranteed, every time in a debate against a Muslim or a Mormon, Jehovah's Witness, or whatever other cult you're dealing with at the moment. So if you use this strategy, it will work. And first off, I want to clarify something. It's not exactly quick to learn. It's easy to learn, but it's going to take a little bit of time. So if you're, when we start arguing with cultists like Mormons and Muslims and Jehovah's Witnesses and all that, Mormons are knocking on your door, Jehovah's Witnesses are knocking on your door, or you have your crazy, Muslim friends at school, and you get in constant arguments with them, or you're arguing with these people on the internet. We tend to focus on picking on their doctrine. So, for example, Muslims deny the Trinity. So they'll say, well, let's try to prove the Trinity so we can beat the Muslim in the argument. So Christians will spend hours and hours studying about the Trinity and learning the apologetics behind it, and then they'll try to argue with the Muslim, and the Muslim will pull out some verse from the Old Testament, and they'll say, oh, you see this verse, or some verse from one of the Gospels, and they'll say, you see, Jesus here never claimed to be God, and that's it. And learning the apologetics behind doctrine, Orthodox Christian doctrine, is great. It's excellent. It's very important. I'm not discouraging that whatsoever. Continue to do that, please. Don't stop. But what I am going to say is that this strategy that I'm going to be giving you guys will give you the ability to just dissipate all the clout and go straight to the heart of the matter and bring that Muslim or that Mormon or that Jehovah's Witness to a corner from which they can't escape. So this is the strategy. Learn church history. That's it. Learn church history. And if you just take, it doesn't take that long to learn basic church history. Enough church history to win an argument. It really doesn't take that long. And I'm going to recommend to you guys some books that are very necessary and are very crucial to read if you want to understand basic church history. And just by taking, I would say, a couple weeks, really, it takes a couple of weeks to read this material. And by the time you're done reading it, boom. You'll go to your Muslim friend or some heretic friend of yours, and you'll say, hey, this is the strategy. I want you to solve this problem for me. So, learn church history. So, Eusebius' church history, the life of Constantine, and one of the best, Tertullian, on the prescription against heretics. Now, you can read all these books for free online. I'm going to put the links on the bottom of the video for you. Now, this is why this strategy is so effective, and inevitably will lead you to victory in any debate with these heretics. A Mormon knocks on your door. Just for example, a Mormon knocks on your door, and he says, we're the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And they start telling you that the Trinity isn't true, or they'll start saying that Joseph Smith was a prophet of God, and they'll start going into this nonsense about how Christianity was corrupted and it wasn't revived, or true Christianity wasn't revived until Joseph Smith popped up in New York somewhere. And the Muslims will say the same exact thing, that there was true Christianity and there were the true teachings of Jesus, the prophet Jesus, or the Isa as they call him, and those teachings were not revived, or they were not restored until Muhammad came up. And the Jehovah's Witness will tell you the same thing. And this is how you deal with it. You look at that person you're talking to, you look at that heretic, and you ask them this simple question: show me your apostolic succession. Show me your apostolic succession. Now, what is apostolic succession? Apostolic succession is documented lineage from now all the way down to Jesus Christ. Can you prove that your gospel goes all the way down to Jesus Christ? Could you show me a teaching in your Mormon or Muslim or Jehovah's Witness church? Could you show me a doctrine in any one of these cults that is reminiscent or parallel to anything taught by the church in its 2,000-year tradition? When you state a teaching, if you, for example, have an interpretation of a teaching, now, there's certain verses in the Bible that you don't really need to show, or you don't really need to interpret that much. It's just right there in the open. But for example, the Trinity, or the two natures of Christ, that is, that Christ had two natures, human and divine. Those types of things need detailed, very analytical deductions. So it takes a while to conclude these things. So what you need to do, for example, if I say Jesus Christ is God, they're going to pull up the scripture and say, oh, no, he's not. See this Bible verse right here, this Bible verse? And it's very simple to just beat these arguments by simply saying, listen, the Trinity was confirmed by some of the most ancient Christian authorities. And also, you can pull up the writings of St. Ignatius and also St. Clement of Rome and those saints, and you can say, listen, the Trinity was right here, confirmed. You can pull up the Life of Constantine by Eusebius, and the Trinity is confirmed. It's one of the oldest books in church history. It's confirmed right there. Show me, prove to me that the Mormon church or the Islamic religion can go all the way back, prove through documentation, go all the way back to Jesus Christ. They can't. The only religion that can do that is Christianity, and it can be done through history. So if you can learn church history, then you can have the confidence to look at any one of these heretics and simply ask them, prove to me that your church goes all the way back to Jesus Christ through history. They can't do it. The only thing they can do is find heretics in the ancient world that were never a part of the church, or they broke away from the original church, like Arius or Nestorius or Valentinius or Muhammad, all these other guys, and they'll say that that was the true church. But if you can read church history, you'll simply understand that, wait a second, those guys weren't part of the true church. They broke away from it. They have no lineage back to the apostles or back to Jesus Christ. So learning church history gives you the strength and the ability to win in every argument against a Mormon, Muslim, Jehovah's Witness. All you got to do is look at them and say, show me your apostolic succession. You guys are true Christians. Show me your apostolic succession. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the links in the bottom of the video, and I want you guys to read all of them. Take a number of weeks. Read them. Study them. You know, learning apologetics takes deep study, takes deep massaging of the mind, deep intellectual inquiry and investigation. So if you can do that, you can master it, then you can look at any heretic and ask them, show me your church in history, in the history of Christianity. The Mormon church didn't come up until the 19th century. Muhammad's cult didn't come up until the 6th century. The Jehovah's Witnesses didn't come up until the 19th century. So how could you prove that your church goes back to original Christianity when you have no history to prove it? And Mormon will come up and say, well, it was corrupted. Well, show me the corruption. Show me the historical proof that the true church was corrupted until Joseph Smith. And if that were true, then Jesus Christ failed. Jesus Christ said that gates of hell will never prevail against my church. And so if the church was vanquished by corruption until Joseph Smith, well, that statement isn't true. Either the statement is true or it's false. I believe it's true, and it's true because I read church. I know it's true because I read church history. And they'll say, well, the corruption came in Constantine. Really, what corruption? What corruption did Constantine do? And that's when the Life of Constantine by Eusebius comes in. Or when they want to talk about how, you know, their church goes all the way back to Jesus Christ. Really, prove it. Read Eusebius's ecclesiastical history. And this book shows you that it shows you the lineage from Jesus Christ to the church to the time of Constantine, showing that the church has direct lineage to Jesus Christ. And so I can prove my faith through history. I can prove that my faith goes all the way back to Jesus Christ through history. Can you? No, you cannot. Therefore, you are a counterfeit. You are a modern invention. You are a modern heretical invention. So, what I'm going to do, and one thing I want to show you here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link all the books that you need to read in the bottom of this video. So those books are going to be the letters of Clement, Polycarp, and Ignatius of Antioch. Once you read these epistles, you can understand that. And here's the thing, very important. All three of these guys knew the apostles. All three of these guys were taught by the apostles. So these are the oldest writers after the apostles that we know of. In fact, Clement is actually mentioned in the Bible. Look him up on Blue Letter Bible and you'll find him in the New Testament. And so in these letters, we know for a fact that the Trinity was believed in before the Council of Nicaea. Because Clement and Ignatius both declared Jesus Christ as God incarnate in the flesh. So when a Mormon comes over and says, oh, there's no evidence that the ancient church believed in that Jesus Christ was God. Really? Really? Read Clement and read Ignatius of Antioch. They both knew the apostles, and they both believed that Jesus Christ was God. So read that. Second book is going to be Eusebius' Ecclesiastical History. This is the most necessary church history you're going to read. You're going to have to read after the book of Acts. Read the book of Acts, then read this. This gives you the lineage of the church from Jesus Christ onward. Proves it through historical documentation. Eusebius gives all of it. In fact, a lot of the writing in this book is not even from Eusebius. It's simply letters and documents from the church that were written near the time of the apostles, and he simply just quotes them. So very, very necessary, very obligatory if you want to have a deep, in-depth investigation in your faith. And then the third book is The Life of Constantine. And this right here shows you that Constantine did not corrupt the church. And that Mormons will say that Constantine corrupted the church. Muslims will say the same thing. Jehovah's Witnesses say the same thing. It's not true. The church continued on before and after Constantine, and during. And then the fourth one is very important. It's called The Prescription Against Heretics. And the reason why I have it in a big volume is because these are the complete works of Tertullian. But you can read The Prescription Against Heretics for free on the internet. It's a very small little book. It's more like a pamphlet. This book shows you, it gives you further documentation, further substantiation for the lineage of the church from Jesus Christ to his time period, going to the apostles, to the successors of the apostles, and forward. So these 4 books are what you're going to have to read. Once you finish reading these 4 books, I guarantee you 100% that you will be more confident in debating. You won't have to read through every false doctrine that you're confronted with. You simply have to read the church history, look at the heretic in the eyes, and tell him, show me your apostolic succession. This is Theodore Shoebat. Don't forget to follow my Facebook page. Also, get my DVD on Christian militancy. The links will be on the bottom of the video. God bless.